What's up nerds, my name is Abdul Nafe and welcome back to a brand new video. And in this one we're going to be learning how to make this amazing render inside of Unreal Engine 5. Now this tutorial is mainly made for Unreal beginners who have very little experience inside of Unreal Engine 5. However, you will be expected to know the basics like navigating the viewport, using the move tool, rotate tool, etc. In this video, we're going to be covering the basics of importing models from Blender, texturing, lighting, and rendering inside of Unreal Engine 5. Now, even if you are an Unreal Engine 5 intermediate user, I would still recommend you to watch this video because it's filled with useful tips and tricks which will help you simplify your workflow. So if you want to take your Unreal Engine 5 skills to the next level, then start this class today. Thank you. Also, by the way guys, if you want inspiration or ideas for your future 3D projects, then be sure to follow me on Instagram at Nafi3D. I post all my 3D work there, and on my stories I post my process and sometimes short tutorials on how to make the stuff that I make. Recently I made this 3D forest inside of Unreal Engine 5. And apart from that, yeah, just be sure to follow me over there, and you will also get notified whenever I post a new Skillshare class or a longer format course. And apart from that, if you want feedback on your art or you want to give feedback on my art, then be sure to DM me or comment on any of my posts and I'll be more than happy to respond to you. And apart from that, yeah, let's start the video. Alright guys, so we are going to be creating this render which you see on your screen right now inside of Unreal Engine. So first of all, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be importing the model inside Unreal Engine. Now to do that, what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be using Blender. Now either you can create the model yourself or you can download one from the internet. If I just go to the internet and search 3D model car, and now you're going to see, if I go to images, you're going to see a lot of these models are going to be available. And if I just search free, then you're going to see all the free models. So you can either just choose any of these. For example, go to Sketchfab, Free3D, TurboSquid, and CG Trader. These are the trusted websites which I've used in the past. And you can just download any of these models. $70 looks pretty good. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be using Blender. And inside here, I'm going to be using an add-on called the Blender Kit. So if I just go here, and if I just go to Blender Kit, now obviously you're not going to have this if you don't have the Blender Kit add-on installed. So what I'm going to do for that is to just go to blenderkit.com and you can download the add-on from here. Just press download Blender Kit and you're going to see the instructions to install it right here. Just follow these instructions and you're going to be good to go. Now once you have this add-on installed, you can just simply search for car, and I'm just going to check this free first checkbox so that I only get free models, because yeah, so if I just scroll ahead, so you can just choose any of these models, but I'm going to be choosing this one right here, Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster. Just press it once and it's going to be it's just going to come in your viewport. So that's just going to be perfect. So I'm just going to delete this default cube and let's delete this light and this camera as well. All right, so now I'm just going to select this rig and let's delete it because we don't need to rig the car. And now we are basically good to go. So with this selected, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select this right click and select objects. So all the car is selected. Now let's just go to our top view, GY, and just move it in the center, because that's just going to make things a lot easier for us inside of Unreal Engine. And make sure that it is grounded properly. It's almost perfectly aligned with the ground, and that is perfect. So now what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be exporting an FBX model of this car from Blender, and we're going to be importing it inside of Unreal Engine. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to File, Export, and FBX. I'm just going to go, let me just save it on desktop. Car SS export FPS. Now it's going to take a minute, but when it's done, all right, so it's done. Now let's just open up Unreal Engine. All right, so now here I have Unreal Engine open. Now I do have these all this stuff here because I just wanted to show you guys how to import them. So I'm just going to be importing that in just a bit. So first of all, you're going to see we have an empty level. You can either have one with lighting and everything, but I just opened an empty level by going to File, New Level, and Empty Level. Just press Create and it's going to open. But I've already done that. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to Windows, Window, and I'm going to go to ENV Light Mixer. Now we can use this to create lights and all. So I'm just going to be creating a skylight, atmospheric light 0. We're not going to be creating atmospheric light 1 because we already do have one and we don't need another one. We're going to be creating a sky atmosphere, volumetric cloud, and height fog. Now you're going to see our lighting is basically done. Okay. And so right now you're going to see there is no floor. So let's first add a floor, and then we're going to be importing the car. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go from select mode to landscape. And basically this is used to create landscapes and all, but I'm going to be using it to create a floor for us. So that's just going to be pretty simple. Just press create, and you're going to see we're going to have a floor. Now you can sculpt this, but I'm not going to do that because I mean our floor is pretty flat in this render. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be importing the car now. Now to import the car, I'm just going to go to content, and let's just create a new folder called car. But I've already created a folder, and here you can just create a subfolder called Mercedes or whatever. I'm just going to be creating a new folder, Mercedes tutorial. Perfect. So now here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be importing that FBX. Now, how exactly do you import FBX inside of Unreal Engine? It's pretty simple. Just go to wherever you had exported it. I think it's on desktop, car SS. Just select this and drag it right over here. Now you're going to see that it's going to be importing. Just ignore this and just press import all. Now it's going to be importing it. Now this may take some time depending on how fast your computer is, but once it's done, I'll see you. Right, so now the import is done and it shows all these errors and everything, but just ignore that because it doesn't really matter. So now what I'm going to do is that you're going to see, if I just increase the size of this, you're going to see a lot of meshes. And now don't be confused. It's pretty simple to actually import them. What you have to do is just press the first mesh and just go to the end. Go to the end and just select the last mesh, but press shift and just click that. So now you're going to see everything is going to be selected in between. Now if I just drag this inside our viewport, you're going to see the car is going to be imported. If I just drop it, okay, just give it a second. It's preparing the shaders and everything. So I'm just going to let it do that. Now you're going to see the car is imported, but it's a little weird. What's all with this? What's up with all this? So let me explain. Basically, the thing is, inside Blender, we had some text on this car, right? I think the text was here. I think that was the text, and we had some other text as well somewhere. And that text, it did not scale properly. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be deleting all that. Firstly, just select this plane and just delete it. Now you're going to see everything is fine. But if I move here, you're going to see all this mess. Now what this mess is basically it's all the text. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be selecting one of them. You're going to see car SS text. Now if you just go to text.001 and just go to the end, text 54, select it and delete everything. Now you're going to see the car is going to be perfect. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to delete this thing as well. So some things did not import properly, but now you can see the car is looking pretty good, but the textures are not realistic at all. Now the thing with BlenderKit is that although the BlenderKit textures do work perfectly, by the way, just save your project. Although the BlenderKit textures do work perfectly inside of Blender, if I just render it, you're going to see they look pretty good. However, they don't work perfectly fine with Unreal Engine, and you're going to have to create or import other textures as well for that. But thankfully, we do have an add-on. We do have a texture pack for cars, which was made by Epic itself. So I'm just going to go to the Epic launcher, Epic Games launcher. And once the Epic Games launcher is opened, you just have to go to Unreal Engine and just go to Marketplace. And here, what you have to do is you have to search automotive materials. Just search that, and you're going to see a texture pack made by Epic Games. It's totally free. You can just download this. I think the download is, I'm just going to go to my library. The download size is around 2.9 gigabytes. So just download that. And once it's done, you can just add it to a project. Just press add to project. And then you have to, actually it's going to come up in the library. Just press add to project and just select your project, whichever one you want to add it to. In my case, it's this one. Although I do already have it added. So I'm just going to go down. Once you have added it, you're going to see this automotive materials folder is going to come up. And now for this, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go inside this, and you're going to see all these folders. So if I just go to this material folder, and here you're going to see three actually folders: exterior, interior, and textures. Now you have to ignore this textures one. Exterior and interior are the ones which we're going to be using. So firstly, I'm going to go to, let me just go to car paint. And here you're going to see all the car paints which are available. And so you can just pick any of them. So for example, in this, maybe I can like pick this red. if I just go up, you're gonna see it looks pretty realistic and pretty good. And you can just start applying it to everything. Although I don't think I'm gonna go with that red. So in this reference, I used black color, right? So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna be using black again. Just select that. Although it doesn't look that great this time, unfortunately. I feel like the black is way too fake looking. We can probably go with this charcoal material. Actually, I feel like I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Perfect. So this charcoal material is gonna do it for me. But obviously you can just pick whatever material you want and just start applying it to the car. Now this will be a little tedious and you might get a little bored. So I would suggest you to just put on some good music and just get on with the work. And once you're basically done with that, let's move on to the next texture, which is going to be the tires. So for the tires, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be going to well, the rubber folder of this exterior folder. Rubber folder, you're going to see tires. For tires, we have two of them, two textures, right? One's going to be for this tread. Now if I just apply this to here, you're going to see it's going to give us that tire look. And the other one is going to be for the sides, right? Just apply it to the sides and you're going to see it looks pretty realistic, doesn't it? Now obviously if you apply this one here, it's not going to look that great. It's actually not going to look great at all. But with this, you're going to see the tire looks pretty seamless, and this is the tread and this is the side. Perfect. So let's just do that with all the tires now. So adding materials in Unreal Engine is pretty simple. You don't really need to make that many materials yourself. You can either use Megascans, which we're going to be using in just a bit, or you can use like these add-ons and these plugins and texture packs. So next up, I'm just going to be working on this metal part of this tire. So I'm just going to go to metal, and you can just select any of them. Let me just try this out. Although this doesn't look that great. No, I'm not really feeling it. Let's see what I used in the reference. So it was a black sort of material, right? So I'm just going to be using a black one. Let me just try this. Metal bump 2, something like that should be good. Yeah, I think that's fine. Perfect. So let me just apply it to this as well. And to this rings, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be applying a shiny chrome material. That's going to look pretty good. And to this Mercedes logo as well. Perfect. So now that is done, let me just do the same exact thing with the other ones as well. And lastly, this one. Now the good thing about these materials is that firstly, they're all editable. You can just tweak these materials anytime you want. For example, if you want to change the color of this metal, then you can just select this, and you can inside this tint, you can just set the tint to any color you want, and it's just going to become that color. So that's a very good feature. Although I'm just going to leave it at black because I think that is what it's supposed to be. Perfect. So this thing is still orange, so I'm just going to make this black as well. Just go to car paint, charcoal, I'm going to apply it to this. And let's make this grill a little you know, a sort of shiny metal kind of thing. I think that should be good. And let's actually give a chrome texture to these things, the front, because that's how it's supposed to be. Let's give a chrome material to this as well. And finally to this. Perfect. So now we're going to be working on the lights later on, but right now let me just finish up this chrome metal. Now this can get a little tedious sometimes, although I mean right now it seems to be the only way to do it. All right, perfect. So that is almost done, I think. Let me just apply it to this as well. If I mean your render is going to be from a very far if you're going to be rendering it from far, then obviously it doesn't really matter that much if you like add the texture to like many very minor details or not. But since this is a tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do it anyway. Perfect. Anyways, okay, all right. So now I think the exterior is mostly done. Let's move on to the interior. And for the interior, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to be collapsing this exterior menu. Let's go to interior, and here I'm just going to be searching leather. Let's just go inside the leather folder, and we can just choose any of these. So for example, let me just choose this one. Let's wait for the textures to be compiled, and let's see how it looks. All right, so I think it looks pretty good. It's actually very similar to the one which we already had applied. However, it looks pretty good. And if you go very close up, you're going to see the details in the leather as well. So the texture is pretty good. All right, so let me just apply this to everything, to all the seats and everything. Let me apply it to this as well, this back portion. And this as well. Right now the car doesn't look that realistic. However, we are going to be tweaking the lighting and everything, so it's going to look pretty good. Don't worry. And I don't think we need to add materials to these minor things as well, because the thing is they're not going to be visible at all, because the render is going to be from pretty far away. I'm just going to go back to metal, and I'm going to be adding a chrome finish to this. That looks pretty good. Oops, not that. That one right there. Perfect. So our car's texturing is almost done basically. The only thing left is this and this. And the outside as well. And now for the mirror, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be, now you're going to see one thing. This already does have a mirror texture, right? So because it's not visible from here, but it is visible from here. And that's because the normals are from this angle. Now, if you wanted to render the car from the front, now what you have to do is you have to go inside Blender, and you have to basically flip the normals, right? But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be rendering this car from the back. So by the way, let me just apply the chrome texture to these as well. Oops, not that. Exactly. All right, perfect. So now let me just go to glass, and let me just apply a glass texture to this. You're going to see that's going to become transparent. All right, so now that's going to be pretty good. And you're going to see that the glass looks pretty realistic as well. Now you can obviously go with a tinted glass as well. If I just remove this texture and if I just add a tinted glass, you're going to see that's going to work as well. But I'm just going to go with a regular windscreen glass. Oops. I think that's fine. All right, so I'm just going to be adding, let me just add a black, like a charcoal texture to this, because that's going to look pretty realistic. And all right, so our car is basically done. The texturing is almost done. Just a few minor details left. Perfect. So the lights do already look good, so I'm not going to bother tweaking them. Let me just add material to these. All right, perfect.